Hi guys! I was going to go ahead and finish chasing Vermeer for us. Sorry it's taken me so long. There's been a few things to do around here. I hope you guys are doing well and I hope you have a very, very nice and safe holiday break. All right, I look forward to seeing you back in January, but let's read first. Calder did discover more 12s. First, he made a list. Petra on delay, Frank on delay, Norma on delay, Calder Pillay, Walter Pillay, Yvette Pillay, Isabel Hussey, Louise Sharp, Tommy Segovia, Zelda Segovia, Vincent Watch, Xavier Glitz, also known as Fred Stedman. There were 12 names and 12 letters in each name. Mrs. Sharp got all pink-cheeked and pleased when Calder showed her the list, and after thinking for a moment, she said slowly, "Yes, how curious. The message 1212 also has 12 letters if you spell it out, and so does the name of the painting A Lady Writing, at least in English." She reminded Calder and Petra that Charles Fort didn't believe in coincidence. He felt things were often connected in ways that no one could yet explain in scientific terms. But if none of this was coincidence, what was it? Calder and Petra were more than a little spooked by it all. They were very glad that they had Mrs. Sharp to talk to. They thought it was pretty extraordinary that she had, in the hospital, said just about the same thing as Picasso about art, lies, and the truth. Maybe the greatest ideas were quite simple. Or maybe certain experiences in life were made to fit together like pentominoes. Maybe the passage of time, even centuries, didn't matter when something really important needed to be said. If there were 12 names involved, and if each name was a piece in a very big puzzle, did any of those 12 fit together in other ways? Over many cups of tea, Calder, Petra, and Mrs. Sharp found a number of odd connections. The most startling one was that the first letter of the first name of each person in Calder's list was a pentomino. "The U is my C," Calder explained. "It's just a matter of a simple turn, not even a flip. I never liked the U being a U anyway." Calder then realized that if you thought about those 12 people as pentominoes, you could see that certain ones fit into rectangles more easily than others. The X, Xavier, for instance, is the hardest pentomino to work with. The U, or C, Calder, and the P, Petra, however, work easily into many solutions. The L, Louise, can fit easily with the I. Excuse me. The I, Isabel, and the W, Walter, with the Y, Yvette, or the F, Frank, with the N, Norma. Calder's thoughts were running wild. Then he and Petra remembered Miss Hussey saying, "The letter is dead," at the beginning of the school year. Well, one letter certainly was, they thought grimly, the X. Although Leyland Sharp was not on the list, Calder noticed that the first letter of his first name began with the 12th letter in the alphabet. Petra added that L was a very useful pentomino and worked easily into most rectangles. Yes, he always did manage to fit into every new situation. Mrs. Sharp sniffed and looked pleased. He loved puzzles and codes, you know. He would have appreciated pentominoes. Isabel Hussey and Louise Sharp both turned out to be descendants of a member in the Coffin family on Nantucket Island. Both had lived there. Mrs. Sharp had written the letter she'd told Calder and Petra about. After the mystery was solved, Miss Hussey and Mrs. Sharp were often seen having dinner together in Hyde Park. They had lots to talk about and enjoyed each other's thinking. As the school year went on, Miss Hussey became as much a friend as a teacher to Petra and Calder. The three often went to Fargo Hall after school for hot chocolate. Petra did show Miss Hussey her copy of Lowe. The sixth grade class tried to add to Charles Fort's accounts and studied the idea of coincidence. Was it, as a number of interested scientists believed, just the human fascination with patterns? Or was it something more? Frank and Norma Ondelay and Walter and Yvette Pillay all turned out to be 43 years old. They had all been 12 in the year of Leland Sharp's death, which had been 31 years earlier. Mrs. Sharp and the children wondered if there was any connection with the 1931 publication date of Low. They also realized with a shudder that Vermeer had been 43 when he died. Petra's dad told Petra something else stunning. A part of his family had lived for centuries in the Netherlands, in an area not far from Delft. Family records were sketchy, but it was entirely possible that Petra was related to a member of Vermeer's family. Petra walked on air for days. Calder, in his research, found that Johannes Vermeer had collapsed quite suddenly in December 1675. He had been buried in the Oude Kerk in Delft on December 16th. It was thought that he died several days earlier, which would have made December 12th perhaps the last full day of his life. In addition to being Petra and Calder's birthday, it had also been the last conscious day of Xavier Glitz's life. And then there was Frog. Once Petra remembered Fort's sentence, "We shall pick up an existence by its frogs," she pointed out to Calder that perhaps it had been some kind of strange clue. Here's a picture on this page. Maybe they should have picked up Glitterman's existence from Frog. Within weeks of the ladies' return to the National Gallery, the wall labels on a number of Vermeer paintings around the world were quietly changed to "attributed to Johannes Vermeer." In celebration, Calder and Petra went to the Drake Hotel with Mrs. Sharp for tea, and she told them both about deliveries that were soon to be made at each of their houses. She gave Calder an antique globe and a real Oriental carpet that looked just like the geographer's. She gave her writing desk, an elegant 17th century beauty, to Petra. She also gave her a string of real Dutch pearls. Calder and Petra, in their interviews with the press, didn't share the entire story. They never mentioned Petra's dream, Calder's problem solving, Charles Fort, the 12s, or the blue ones. They didn't know if the world was ready for it, and they still weren't entirely sure what had been real and what had not. The end. All right, I'm going to pause for just a second because I want to show you guys something. So I told you guys I went to Washington, D.C. and went to the National Gallery last year and told one of the curators there that I was very interested in seeing if they had any Vermeer paintings, and guess what? They did. I got to see that one in person. It was very cool. And look, the funny story about it is that I actually got in trouble because when I took this picture, the alarms sounded in the room and security guys came in and said, "You're too close to the painting." So I got in a little bit of trouble. And so there is her description. What's very interesting and something that you might have picked up on the last in the last little bit of the book is that in the National Gallery they changed many of the paintings to attributed to Johannes Vermeer, and that is actually true. There are many paintings, and I wish I would have taken a picture of one of the descriptors that say attributed to, because now they're not really sure if it was work that was copied from similar to Johannes Vermeer or actually his work, but it's in question for sure. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great break. Thanks for reading this book so quickly with us. I know that was fast and furious, and I wish we could have had a little bit more time to enjoy it, but I hope you have a great break, friends. I'll see you in January.